You just lost another sales rep. You spent months searching, onboarding, and training them only for them to leave. Now you're facing lost revenue, tanking morale, and just a sinking feeling in your stomach, questioning your own ability to lead. But what if I told you the problem isn't the people you're hiring, it's actually the broken system you're using to find them? Because the number one mistake leaders make is simply hiring when they should be systematically selected. Hey everyone, I'm Drew Norton. I'm the Everyday Sales Leader. In our last video, we talked about the idea of always be recruiting. Today, we're going to go deeper into the system that makes it work. I've built multi-million-dollar sales teams, and I've lived through the emotional and the financial drain that comes with a bad hire. It can really cripple your business or your sales org's momentum. The reason most leaders are stuck in this turnover trap is a failure of leadership to own the process. And this is where my core belief comes in. Sales is life. When you're recruiting, you're not just offering a job. You're literally selling someone on the life they will live as a part of your company. Your mission is to build an A team. And that starts with understanding the difference between simply filling a seat and truly selecting a winner. So we're going to talk about why your system is broken. And there are 3 mindsets you can have when it comes to filling your team with sales reps. And so the first and the most dangerous one is the hiring mindset. This is really a reactive trap. This mindset is typically where leadership take a passive and reactive approach to hiring. So we basically wait until there's a vacancy and then we scramble to fill it. Typically the broken system that's a part of this is the process is just we go and post a job online and we hope the right person comes along. You're screening people, yet you're not really selling the vision of the company. And then typically what happens as a result of this, you get the best person who applied, not the best person for the job. I want to say that one more time. You get the best person for the job, not the best person who applied. And if you think about that, it's because if we aren't going out and finding the people, or if we're not attracting the right people to us, often when we screen for people or when we post ads and people come in, we just take the best of what we get. Sometimes that works out great. It does. And oftentimes it leads to 3 months, 6 months down the road, going through this cycle again because we just burned through another sales rep that didn't work out. This could also be thought of a little bit as like the shiny object syndrome. Sometimes I see this happen as well, where we get really excited about the resume of the sales rep. You know, somebody applies, they have a resume, they've done everything you have wanted them to do in sales, and they simply aren't aligned with your culture. That could show up one of 2 ways. One, maybe you hire the sales rep, he has the experience, but he's not willing to fill the sales role in the way you like. So sometimes I see companies need to hire someone who create their own lead generation. They get really excited about a sales rep who has a lot of experience, but he wants to be in a closing role where he doesn't have to prospect or create leads, right? And on the flip side, sometimes if you need that experienced closer and you have plenty of leads, you've got to be willing to go out and find the right person who has the skill set, who can tackle things from day one rather than try to mold and shape somebody into what you need if you don't have the time frame to do that. So part of that is, are they aligned in the seat that we hire them? More importantly, do they align with the culture? When you bring in a bad fit culturally, often what this looks like is someone who sells a lot, but they're a detriment to the team because they're a cancer. And I've seen it happen way too often where sales orgs and companies will hold on to a representative just because of the volume and lose a lot of their B level players and maybe some of their C players that would be good, solid people to keep and build around their organization. But the message is clear. You value the profits, not the people. We want to find these A+ players. We want to make sure they're aligned with the culture and fit of our company. And look, if you look at the data, it's pretty eye-dropping. Studies show that replacing a single sales rep can cost typically 2 times their annual salary. The role you're in, the salary or the pay is typically around $100,000 a year. It could actually cost you about $200,000 to your bottom line. Having the hiring mindset where we're reactive and we hire just when vacancy opens can really be costly. I would say the next level up, and this is where I actually see most leaders, and I think it's a good mindset, to be honest, is a recruiting mindset. And that's where you start to become proactive. That's where you start to go out and hunt for talent. That's where you are just waiting for a vacancy. You're always going out and, hey, we're going to find great people. That mindset is part of what a good leader has, is that we're always going to be looking for talent. And then they have a better system because they typically have a pipeline for their people. There's typically some type of networking pipeline. There's relationships constantly being made. The reason this is so much better than a reactive approach is the market shows that 44% of satisfied, high-performing sales reps are actually open to new opportunities. So think about that. If you have 10 people on your sales team and they're all happy, 4 or 5 of those reps are actually looking to go somewhere else, right? So that's something to pay attention to. And then on the flip side, just because someone's happy at another organization doesn't mean they're not, especially a sales rep, doesn't mean they aren't open to exploring something new. And so I think that data is really crucial and really important to recognize that the top talent out there are often looking. And if you're not proactively recruiting, just remember your competitors are, and your good salespeople are constantly being spoken to by these other. The one thing to remember though, is there's a little bit of a gap though, when you have this mindset of always recruiting. It's that finding talent is enough. That's actually just half the battle. And so having a selecting mindset would be the next layer of all this. It's really how you build your A team and really create a system around building an A team. In a selection mindset, leaders take full ownership of the talent on their team. This is the ultimate level of leadership, and it's an intentional, data-driven system for choosing the right people. And it's not just choosing them, it's attracting them. It's attracting the right people to us so we can choose the best. And then when you have an A team system, you have a process that's built on a solid foundation, and you're evaluating your candidates, not just to fit the right role or against their experience, but actually against a non-negotiable mission, vision, and culture. And this is where you can really start seeing a powerful payoff in filling the sales positions in your organization. A players, they're selected. They're not hired. The best salespeople, they're not applying. They're typically not going out and applying for positions on Indeed. Having a selection mindset helps you create a system that protects you from the massive costs of mishires. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen organizations fall in love with a rep who doesn't fit their culture, doesn't fit the sales role. And that can sometimes cost companies hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in revenue. Now, you might think, oh, well, we didn't have to spend that much. No, it's not the money you spent. It's the time lost. If we lost the time we could, if we had spent a little more time finding and selecting and attracting the right person to our organization. If we screen them in any way, it's actually screening them against our culture. If we make sure they're a fit to those mission and values, then we're not wasting time with someone who's not going to work out. And that 3 or 6 months of lost revenue could have been made by just simply selecting the right person. Where I've learned this from is Ken Crenshaw. He's the director of sports medicine and performance for the Arizona Diamondbacks. You probably don't know who he is. And if you do, you'd also know that most of the positions in the Major League Baseball came from people that worked on his team and through his team. And he talks about the importance of going out and actually selecting talent versus just hiring people, even just recruiting people. And so when you can attract the best talent to your organization, when you can create a place that people want to be a part of, this is actually how you start to protect the momentum in your morale and your mission. The first step to building your A team with the top sales talent is to stop being reactive. If you aren't, at minimal, go out and recruit and always be recruiting at minimum. And even better is to become a selector, that we attract talent, we select those who are the best fit. You have to own the process. How do you know if your current foundation is solid? I've created the A Team Foundation quiz based on what we've talked about in this video. It's a simple assessment that will instantly show you the cracks in your system. And if you go to the link in the description below, you can get access to that quiz. In the next video, I'm going to show you the blueprint for building an unbreakable sales culture that attracts A players. And as always, if you got value from this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Go out there and lead every single day. Sales is life.